Hello everyone. Today we are talking about a data-driven framework for deciding how much you are going to be spending on your marketing and which exact channel to actually spend this budget on. I'm going to be focusing on two major metrics in growth, which are the lifetime value and the customer acquisition cost, to actually decide and not guess the specific amount you are supposed to be using for your marketing budget. Because I've seen this problem and like a lot of businesses struggle with should they run ads on TikTok or Google or Meta ads? Which platform should they actually run their ads on? It can be very confusing sometimes, but I'm going to be breaking all this down to you in a few minutes from now. My name, I'm a growth marketing manager. I run my own marketing agency, SLSB Solutions, and I have also co-founded a couple of startups in the past. I've run a training institute and an academy for training business owners and entrepreneurs on growth marketing, product analytics, and how to actually leverage marketing technology. So let's jump straight into this. One of the crucial things that we must have at the back of your mind, and these are two questions that every business owners must ask. How much should we actually spend on marketing? Which channel should we spend it on? And two major metrics that actually contribute to this decision are the lifetime value and the customer acquisition cost. If you can actually use these metrics together, you can conveniently answer these two questions. And not just that, it helps you to know your ceiling. Like lifetime value tells you the maximum you can probably spend to win a customer, and customer acquisition cost tells you what channel actually costs you the most. You can understand how you're performing on TikTok, you can understand how your business is performing on Facebook, understand how your business is performing on Google, and you can in real time make good decisions on which one to actually focus on. And not just that, you can actually compare all these channels. We call it benchmarking. You can look at all these channels and make a very concrete decisions on how to actually invest your marketing budget. Finally, you can use all these information to decide and act in a data-driven way to tell yourself, okay, where should your budget be going? Which are your winning channels? So lifetime value is above customer acquisition cost means that you need to scale your ad budget. Sometimes you might plan to run an ad for with about $2,000 and you are seeing lifetime value that is way above what you are getting in your customer acquisition cost. That tells you that you need to add more budget because you are actually being profitable. But if your lifetime value is below customer acquisition cost, that means something needs to be fixed, something needs to be analyzed, something is wrong. So you need to drop that budget and you cannot be spending so much amount in your advertising. So let's jump straight into the next part of this metrics. I also want to talk about the average revenue per user, which is the ARPU, against the lifetime value. Before you set a budget, you need to know which one you are actually looking at. Your average revenue per user tells you what is happening in the past. We call it a lagging metric because it tells you what your business is doing from previous couple of months, days, or years in the past. This reports revenue the product is currently generating per user based on real-time historical activity. But your lifetime value is a metric that actually helps you to predict the profit that is coming to your business in future. It helps you to understand and forecast how much revenue a user will generate over their entire relationship with your brand. Also, these are in various steps. The first step is to find your spending ceiling, calculating your lifetime value first before you set any budget. And I'm going to be giving you a few examples. Let me jump straight into my screen. If you look at your average daily revenue per user, let's say you have something at 0.075, like I have here, then your average lifetime value for every user is in days, let's say like 10 days. So you can literally say, okay, for this average daily revenue per user that you're having 0.075, you can times it and you can see that, okay, the lifetime value of each customer that you have on your platform is about 0.75. I'm going to be connecting this later on. So on average, each user is worth 0.75 to the business over their entire lifetime in the product in your business. So what that tells you is that no matter how much you are going to be spending on, no matter how much budget you are going to be spending on advertising, the customer acquisition cost must not exceed this 0.75. So if you are running ads on Meta, you are running ads on TikTok or Google, you want to focus on getting your customer acquisition cost below 0.75. And that's the thinking behind maximizing your budget and scaling your revenue. Then to turn lifetime value into a budget, what's the most we should spend on? Let's say like you usually acquire 2,000 users from a platform, let's say Facebook, for example, and the projected new users, maybe even before you run a campaign, you can still do all this analysis. If you go to your media plan, because before we actually launch any marketing campaign, we used to give clients something we call a media plan. That's how we actually show how much we are likely to generate from this campaign. That's every performance marketing specialist understand this. You want to do a prediction of, okay, if we should run this ad on TikTok, what's the number of customers that we are likely to generate? What are the number of users that we can actually bring? Then having your 0.75 lifetime value per user, you can literally just understand that, okay, this is how much that you must not exceed. So if you multiply this projected new users by your lifetime value per user, this is going to be giving you a projected value of $1,500. So if you are making $1,500 as expected, the conclusion is that $1,500 is the budget ceiling. Whatever you spend must not be more than this in your campaign. If you are spending $2,000, you are already overspending and you are not going to be profitable. That is the projection that we have from this initial calculation. Then, talking about the price of the channel, customer acquisition cost tells you what a channel actually costs you in acquiring a single customer at every specific time. Think of it like your total marketing spend divided by the total number of users that is being acquired by those spend. So continuing the example from the previous, the budget to $1,500 now, we now see that the total predicted new users is $2,000. Total ad spend is $1,500. That means we are literally breaking even. The total customer acquisition cost is now equals to lifetime value. That means we are kind of like not being profitable. We are not being running at loss. But what if there's another channel that could actually give us, let's say, a lot more users than this? Let's assume that the previous calculation that we did was based on meta ads, like running ads on Instagram and Facebook. And we can literally see that we can still run the same ads on TikTok. And TikTok is likely going to be giving us more users for the same ad spend budget. So let's see what it looks like now. So if perhaps TikTok can give us about 3,000 users for the same ad spend, that means the cost of acquisition cost is going to be like ad spend divided by the total number of users, which is 3,000 in this case. That's going to be giving us 0.50, so which makes it very profitable. So that is how we understand that running ads on Facebook is helping us to break even, not profitable, not running at loss. But if you actually switch these ads to TikTok, we can become very profitable, and the net value per user, which is lifetime value minus customer acquisition cost, is going to be giving us a 0.25, which is telling us that running ads on TikTok is now far better and more profitable with the same budget. TikTok is better channel, lower customer acquisition cost with healthier margin per customers that is being achieved. So your budget and channel decision framework calculate the lifetime value. This sets your ceiling, the most any channel is allowed to cost you per customer. So lifetime value into a budget, you need to understand the multiplication of your projected new users by your lifetime value, which tells you the maximum spend before it is being overspent. Then also calculate your cost of acquisition per channel, run the same spend across each channel, and you are considering and also compare the cost per customer. And then finally, fund what clears the bar. Where lifetime value exceeds customer acquisition cost is where you want to put your money on. And in that case, you can start thinking of increasing your budget. Otherwise, you need to start cutting down on that budget. So whenever you find that it doesn't kind of exceed that, then you need to fix the funnel by cutting the channel, or perhaps trying to understand why is that ad spend actually not making so much money. So use both numbers, the lifetime value, to actually make decision. Because if you use one metric alone, you can be making a mistake and it's likely not going to be yielding anything profitable. So thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.